In the far north of Japan lies a land once home to a forgotten people, the Ainu. Distinct from the Japanese to the south, the Ainu carried a heritage rooted in the forests and rivers.
Women preserve traditions, from sacred songs to the inked markings that bound them to their ancestors.
At the heart of their belief lay the sacred bear, messenger of the divine Kamui. Through chants and fire, the Ainu called upon spirits to bless the seasons. But their world would not remain untouched. Conflict loomed with the expanding Japanese domain. The clash was brutal. Iron met arrow. Gunpowder roared across the frozen north. In moments, lives were extinguished. The ancient people pressed to the edge of survival. The Ainu trace their roots to the Jomon Age, long before the dawn of written history. From the Jomon, the Ainu inherited a life bound to earth, forest, and sea. They spread across Hokkaido, the Kuril Islands, and into Sakhalin. Fishing defined their survival. Salmon, a sacred gift of the rivers. Hunting was both necessity and ritual, a bond between humans and the animal spirits. The bear was sacred, seen as a divine kamui visiting the human world. Their homes, called chise, were wooden dwellings where families gathered by the fire. The Ainu connected distant islands, trading furs and shells across the northern seas. Fire was honored as a pathway for prayers to the spirit world. Their beards and curly hair set them apart, unlike the clean-shaven Japanese yayoi to the south. The Ainu tongue was unique, spoken in chants and stories, but never written down.
Art carried sacred meaning, each spiral a link to unseen spirits.
Shells and the bounty of the sea were vital in Ainu life and trade. Archaeology reveals continuity from Jomon to the Ainu, a line unbroken through millennia. Even on distant islands, the Ainu carried their way of life unchanged. Every hunt, every catch, demanded respect and offering to the Kamui. The Ainu looked unlike their neighbors, bearded, broad, their features a world apart from the yayoi. Generation after generation, the Ainu lived in harmony with their frozen homeland. From Jomon roots to Ainu culture, their story is written across the northern wilderness. For the Ainu, every river, tree, and beast held a spirit, a kamui. Sacred sticks, inau, carried prayers upward to unseen realms.
At the heart of their faith stood the bear, divine visitor of the kamui.
The cub was raised with care, honored as a spirit guest in human form. The bear ceremony, Iomante, was their most sacred rite.
Kamui, hear us.
Flames carried offerings upward, smoke rising as messages to the heavens. In smoke, they saw the path of prayers ascending. Tattoos marked women's passage into adulthood, sacred bonds etched on skin.
The process was painful, yet sacred, binding women to their ancestors. Their art spoke in spirals, symbols of eternity and divine cycles. Totems of wood and spiral designs stood as watchful guardians.
Drums carried voices of men to the spirits of Kamui.
Yukar epics preserved their myths, sung in endless verse. Stories were passed by voice, binding generations together. Dance called the spirits into their midst, rhythm linking heaven and earth.
Masks and carvings embodied spirits, allowing humans to speak as gods.
Offerings of sake and fish nourished the Kamui beyond sight.
The river salmon was no mere food, but a spirit sent by Kamui. Before each hunt, words rose to thank the animal spirits they would take. Every tool bore designs, art and function woven together.
Antlers and bones returned to spirits, symbols of gratitude and respect.
Community joined in chorus, voices merging into prayer. In sacrifice, the bear's spirit returned with gifts for humankind. Arrows loosed skyward symbolized return of spirit to the heavens.
Through fire and smoke, the divine messenger was sent home.
Songs kept memory alive, prayers woven into melody. Thus, belief and ritual bound the Ainu to their gods, their world, and each other. When the Yayoi spread north, they met a people unlike themselves, the Ainu. Trade began, yet suspicion lingered between the two worlds. The Yamato state pressed northward, clashing violently with Ainu resistance.
Spears met shields. Arrows darkened the northern skies.
The Emishi, kindred of the Ainu, resisted imperial power for centuries. The rise of the samurai brought relentless pressure on the northern tribes. Driven from Honshu, the Ainu retreated into Hokkaido's harsher lands. In Hokkaido, they carved a life on the edge of survival. In the 17th century, Shakushain led the Ainu in their fiercest revolt.
Gunpowder thundered, but arrows still darkened the field.
Shakushain fell, and with him, the hope of Ainu victory. Defeat forced the Ainu deeper into the northern wilderness. Though conquered, the Ainu still traded, furs and fish for rice and steel. Often, the trades were unequal. The Ainu cheated of their worth. The Ainu joined Japanese hunts, risking all on the open sea.
Inequities bred anger, yet dependence bound the Ainu to their conquerors.
To the north, Russians came, trading vodka and iron for precious furs.
Foreign gifts tempted, yet eroded the old ways of the Ainu. Guns, vodka, earth, these things bound the Ainu ever tighter to outsiders. Pushed to the margins, the Ainu carried their world further into the cold north. In the 19th century, the Meiji state turned its gaze northward. The empire imposed its symbols on Ainu land.
Ainu lands were seized, their fields turned over to settlers.
The 1899 law forced children into Japanese schools, their language silenced. Their own tongue was forbidden, replaced by unfamiliar scripts. Ceremonies like Iomante were banned, their sacred fires extinguished.
Sacred rites were destroyed, leaving only silence.
The land was reshaped, forests cut for fields of rice and wheat.
Hunting grounds vanished, leaving hunger in their wake.
Poverty tightened its grip as traditions crumbled. Stripped of land, many sold their labor in timber and mines.
Missionaries sought to replace old beliefs with foreign creeds.
Even the marks of identity faded under pressure to conform.
Alcohol, traded cheaply, deepened their suffering. Hunger and disease spread through the villages.
Census numbers revealed their decline, a people vanishing from records. Villages once full fell into silence and ruin. Sacred places turned to emptiness, faith suppressed by decree. In growing cities, Ainu walked as strangers, invisible among the crowd. Their own songs, silenced, replaced by foreign words. The 1899 Former Aborigines Protection Act sealed their fate. By century's end, the Ainu stood on the edge of disappearance.
After 1945, the Ainu began to raise their voices once more.
Activists fought for recognition long denied. The old still passed on memory, refusing to let it fade. In 1997, a law finally promised to protect Ainu culture.
Communities celebrated. Hope rekindled at last.
Young voices now learn the language once silenced. In 2008, Japan at last recognized the Ainu as an indigenous people. For some, the recognition came after a lifetime of waiting.
Festivals returned, alive with dance and song.
The epic songs of Yukar echo once more in public halls.
Children wear the patterns of their ancestors proudly.
In Shiroi, a national museum honors Ainu history and culture. Tourists witness traditions once nearly erased.
Young people reclaim their language, once silenced by force.
Designers weave ancient patterns into modern fashion.
New music blends Yukar chants with modern sound.
Once silenced, the Ainu now stand proud, their culture reborn. Elders guide children, passing rhythm and joy across generations. From silence to revival, the Ainu look to the future with strength. The bear legend endures, a spirit both feared and revered. Their art spoke in spirals, symbols of eternity and life. Yukar epic chants preserve myths of gods and heroes. New generations reclaim the language once silenced.
Festivals breathe life into traditions once nearly lost.
Visitors glimpse a culture reborn, enriching Japan's diversity. Their weaving carries symbols of identity into the present. Youth embrace their heritage, no longer hiding who they are. Elders bless the young, ensuring continuity of spirit. Today, the Ainu stand as proof of Japan's cultural diversity.
Artifacts once hidden now stand honored in museums.
Their survival itself is testament to resilience.
Each carving whispers of ancestors, voices not forgotten.
Families now celebrate identity openly, without fear.
A new generation carries their culture forward with pride.
The Ainu remind us that even the smallest voice in history can echo across centuries. Once, the Ainu were a forgotten people, their homes left in silence.
Yet today, their songs and dances rise again with pride.
The language, once silenced, is now spoken once more. Museums preserve their heritage, teaching the world their story. From silence to revival, their legacy lives through generations. Their culture now enriches Japan's identity as a nation of many voices. The Ainu remind us that even the smallest voice in history can echo across centuries. Join us at Civilizations Uncovered and explore the forgotten worlds of humanity.